Bags down, spikes on. Welcome to the track. Hi, my name is Colin Waitsman, and I'm going to be your host for this episode of Track World News, presented by Track Barn. And today we have an interesting episode for you. So right as of recording this, we are about 1.5 days away from the start of the World Championships. And with that, we have a lot of predictions and upcoming events before we get into the championship. We are also going to be doing daily podcasts called 8 Minutes in Eugene, recapping what happened the day before. So make sure you tune in for that throughout the entire World Championships. Before we go any further, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Manscaped. As track athletes, we're going to be running tons of miles every week and can be really sweaty and gross after a hard day of practice, but those days are behind us. Manscaped just sent me their brand new performance package, which comes with the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies. Look, I've tried a lot of razors in my day, but the Lawnmower 4.0 is just different. Its ceramic blade helps reduce grooming accidents, LED light allows you to shave anytime, anywhere, and since it's waterproof, you can even take it in the shower if you want. When shopping with Manscaped, use code TWN at checkout to get 20% off your entire order, plus free shipping worldwide. Show up to your next meet looking good. If you want to be the best, you gotta look the best. Link is in the description, and now back to the video. And here I'll be giving my 7 picks for the 7 events that I am going to be putting my money on. So, as a preface before we get into the video, these are the things that I am doing. Do not do these bets if you don't have the ability to do it and you're not comfortable with potentially losing how much money you put in. No matter how much I say this is an absolute lock or, this is definitely going to happen, no matter whatever that is, it is not worth the potential of losing all of that money if you're not prepared to lose it. So if you're an NCAA athlete, keep in mind that betting on sports is illegal within the NCAA system. So if that's going to affect you, maybe sit out on this until you're out of the college athletic scene. For those that are not familiar with the numbers that I'm going to be saying, when you hear me say plus anything or minus anything, these are what those terms mean. So if something is plus 100, that means if you bet $100, you will also receive $100 if your bet is correct. So if you bet for, X athlete to win and they are at plus 100 odds, that means you will receive your $100 back plus an extra $100. So that's kind of how it works. And it's the same the opposite way. And you'll notice that not all of these are plus 100 and minus, 100. Well, it'd be minus 115, but it is at could be like plus 650, which means if you bet $100, you win $650. Obviously, the higher the number is, the more unlikely it is deemed that athlete will win. And then the lower the number is, the more likely it is to win. So if somebody is at minus 165 odds, that means you have to bet $165 in order to win $100. Get what I mean? So if it's minus, you have to bet that number to get 100. If it's plus, you have to bet 100 to get that amount. All right, got it? Let's get into it. So like I said, there are going to be 7 events that I am going to be placing my wagers on and giving you some ideas of who I think, 1, has the best chance of winning, and then 2, who has the best odds or, what's the best value pick for your buck as well. And all of these events I will be putting my money on as well. So there are a few events, like I mentioned, that are not in the championship. So currently, you cannot bet on the 200, the men's 400 hurdles, the relays, the multi-events, the women's 1500, the marathon, the steeplechase, the 5K, the 10K, the speed walk. So currently, those events aren't there. Most of the events are, but not all of them are. And then a few events are missing athletes. We'll get into that when we get to the men's 110-meter hurdles in particular, but you'll kind of notice what's going on as we get along here. Now, so looking into this competition, our first event that we're going to talk about is the men's 100. So this is obviously the premier event when it comes to the World Championship. Fred Kerley is minus 165. Lamont Jacobs is plus 350. Trayvon Bromell is plus 400. Christian Coleman is plus 650. Andre DeGrasse is plus 700, and then Johan Blake is plus 1,300. And keep in mind, these odds can change. So just because this is where they are currently, it doesn't mean that that is where they're going to be when you do these bets. They're always fluctuating and can change just like that. And so with this, they're obviously picking Fred Kerley to be the clear favorite here. And so that would be the safe pick. Like in my mind, I have Fred Kerley winning the World Championships because he's been the most consistent athlete this entire season. Like he had the 9.7, the 2 9.7s that he ran in the same day, which was like, oh man, that's crazy. He won USA's. He's been looking really, really good this entire year, not only on the 100, but on the 200 stage. So that would be a safe pick and something that you could definitely do. You're not going to get crazy value for it, but putting a couple bucks on Fred Kerley to win would be a pretty good one there. For me, I don't believe in the Lamont Jacobs winning here. I don't even believe in him medaling. Like him and Andre DeGrasse are two people I don't think are going to be medaling. Just judging off the videos that I've seen though, recently in Eugene, he's been running a lot and he's been showing videos of him, doing warm-ups and all that type of stuff. And he has been looking pretty good, but I'm not going to change my pick just because of those videos and just because this is at a pretty good value for him. I don't believe it. I don't think that he's going to win. For me, the best value here in the pick that I actually went with is Trayvon Bromell at plus 400. Because obviously he won the U.S. championships last year. He was the fastest man in the world last year. And at plus 400, like you're getting some really good odds for a guy that can definitely win. I mean, remember, he runs really well when he's here in the United States. And I can guarantee you that he didn't like the fact that he came in third and in a distance third at that. And so at the U.S. championship. So I think putting some money on him winning, that's what I did. I think you're going to be getting some tremendous value when it comes to your picks. And he also has a really good chance at winning. Unfortunately, there is no just medal, like place a bet here for the person to medal, at least on DraftKings currently. If I could put it to medal, I definitely would. But I said, why not? See if he can get a win. And then another sleeper that has some just crazy odds in my mind are Marvin Bracey. So Marvin Bracey is at plus 6,000. So remember, this is the same guy that beat Trayvon Bromell at the U.S. championships. So he beat Trayvon Bromell just the last time they raced, and he is at plus 6,000, which means if you bet $100, you get $6,000. And Trayvon Bromell, who came in third, is only at plus 400, which means you bet 100, you get $400. So if I'm looking at that, that's like, man, that's some really good odds. So those would be kind of the three people that I would put money on: Fred Kerley, Trayvon Bromell, or Marvin Bracey. I think those are going to be your three best value picks based off of their potential to win and the odds that you're getting. So if you're going to be betting on the men's 100, I would put it on one of those three. It's not saying no one else could win, but I think those got the best odds and your best potential payout if you're looking to do multiple events here. Up next, we're going to be taking a look at the women's 100 meter dash. So obviously this is the next most sought after event that we're going to be seeing here. So if we look at the women's 100, Elaine Thompson-Herah is coming in as the favorite at minus 165. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is second with plus 110. Shericka Jackson is third, plus 500. Melissa Jefferson, plus 1,700. Julian Alfred, also plus 1,700. Aaliyah Hobbs, also plus 1,700. And then Diener Asher-Smith, your 2019 world champion, coming in at plus 1,800. And so looking at what would be the best value picks here, for me, I don't think the Elaine Thompson-Herah is the best pick here. For me, she's not going into it as the favorite. I'm surprised that she's the favorite over Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. I think the Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce bet is looking really, really good right now. I mean, she's coming in as one of the fastest women in the world, and she also has been extraordinarily consistent when she does run the 100. She didn't win at Jamaican Champs, but she had the bye, so she didn't have to win at Jamaican Champs. And so I really like her in the women's 100 for this plus 110. But the bet that I put my money on is actually changed, because I put it out before this video got recorded. I put it on Shericka Jackson. She was at plus 700 at the time, and so I put some money on her. And so I might put another $5, because I only put $5 on her, so I might put another $5 on her again, or I might split it up and put it on Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. But at plus 500, those are some pretty good odds to win. So I would probably put it on either of those two. I think if you go with any of those three Jamaicans, you're going to be sitting pretty good, because while it's not very likely, while it's very possible that the Jamaicans could sweep, I think it's very unlikely that a Jamaican loses the world championship. So while Melissa Jefferson, Aaliyah Hobbs, Julian Alfred, Dean Asher-Smith, while one of those athletes could easily get into the top three, I don't see them beating these three women, because all of them have been at the very top of their game, been running insane times, and to take all three of them down, I don't see happening. So Melissa Jefferson, while that does look tempting with a plus 1700, and Julian Alfred, who also ran a 10.8, that looks pretty tempting, and you have your former champion and Dean Asher-Smith, those are tempting, but I'd steer clear of those, because I don't see them beating all three of these Jamaicans in this race. So I'm going to be I put my money on Shericka Jackson, and if I could put another $5, I'll probably be putting it on Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce again. But really, any three of those would be good picks. It just depends on what kind of risk you're going for. The men's 400 meters. And so with this, it's unfortunate because we're not getting Stephen Gardner that is going to win. He would have probably been at some crazy odds to win this thing, but due to an injury, unfortunately, he is not going to be competing in the World Championships here. And so your picks, the top goes Michael Norman, minus 650. Champion Allison, minus 500. Kirani James, plus 600. Wade Van Niekerk at plus 650. Randolph Ross at plus 1,100. So those are your top athletes right there. And for me, the Michael Norman pick is just not worth it. There's no reason to put any money on Michael Norman being minus 650 for a few reasons. One, those odds are absolutely awful. You're not getting paid anything for the amount of money you're putting in, especially with the fact that Michael Norman has had some issues when it comes to the World Championship stage and the major stage. And so because the odds are so poor and he's had the, challenges when it comes to the major championships in the past, in my mind, that bet is not worth it at all. If it was something similar to a Fred Curley, or if it was at minus 200 or even minus 300, then maybe I'd consider doing that. But the fact that it's minus 650 and his history that he's had when it comes to the World Championships, and it's just not worth that pick. For me, the best one to go after right here is Kirani James at plus 600. He comes in with a ton of experience, and he has the ability to beat Michael Norman, like we've seen him do it before. And so while he's coming in with, I believe, the third best time this year, once again, he shows up big at major championships. We've seen it throughout his entire career, and we know Michael Norman has had some difficulty. And they all compete in the US, like they all train out of the United States. So it's not like Kirani James coming out of Granada is having some issues, and we're gonna have to see how he does when it comes to coming to the US, because there's been some visa issues. That's not a problem with him. So he's gonna be looking real good. I would take him at plus 600. I'm steering clear of Randolph Ross and Champion Allison. They're college kids, and while we know that just because you're a college kid doesn't mean you can't win a major championship, it doesn't happen a lot. Like, it's a long season getting to the World Championships. You can definitely do that. There's 23 college athletes that are in the World Championships this year, but winning, completely new thing. Wade Van Niekerk, that is just something that is there to capture the people that don't pay attention to track and field because they'll be like, oh, the world record holder is competing. And he's got plus 650. Oh, he's easily going to win. Do not do that. That is an awful bet. He's only raced one time and it was a pretty average race. And to assume that he's going to go from that pretty average race to winning the world championships just after one competition, completely steering clear of that. And to give you an idea of some names that aren't here, like they don't even have Michael Cherry, listed here. So they're missing a couple big names for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. There's another huge name that they're missing, and when it comes to the men's 110 meter hurdles. But yeah, so that's what I would do. I'm putting my money on Kirani James. Men's 400 meter. And so with that, it's not going to be too interesting. I mean, you got Shauna Miller-Weibo at minus 500. Paulino out of Dominican Republic at plus 300, Cherokee Young plus 1,100, Talitha Diggs at plus 1,700, and then Stephanie Ann McPherson at plus 1,700 as well. And so looking at these athletes, I mean, the clear ahead favorite is Shauna Miller-Weibo, which, if you want a nice, just safe bet, you want to like guarantee you're going to get some win, I would go with that, because plus 500 is kind of fair, for what that is. It's definitely a lot closer than Michael Norman. Like, to be honest, Michael Norman should be way under a lock than Shauna Miller-Weibo. Like, Shauna Miller-Weibo should be 650 and Michael Norman should be minus 500, if anything. I think that Michael Norman should be brought down to maybe a minus 300, but it is what it is. And then when it comes to any other bets, if you wanted to avoid Shauna Miller-Weibo, Paulino would be actually one that's pretty good. We're going off of, once again, just Shauna Miller-Weibo being Shauna Miller-Weibo. So this could be kind of a trap pick because she doesn't have the fastest time in the world. What that is from Paulino, but it's once again like how often can you replicate that, where we see that Miller-Weibo does this all the time, like she's one of the top tier athletes and she is consistently like that. Paulino, we're not too sure. Then I'm also staring clear for winning with Cherokee Young and Talitha Diggs. I think one of them, I picked Talitha Diggs to come in third, but once again, them being college students, it's going to be really tough for you to actually get a win here. If they had a medaling opportunity, I would pick Talitha Diggs to medal, but the fact that it's all or nothing here, it is no middle ground, I'm going to stick with Shauna Miller-Weibo to win. Or if you wanted a nice backup pick, see if you can get some extra stuff, I'd be going with Paulino there. Up next, we're going to be taking a look at the men's 110 meter hurdles. But actually, before that, let's talk about what are currently the biggest locks according to the DraftKings app. So as of right now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the top 6 biggest locks when it comes to DraftKings. Rojas, Yomar Rojas in the triple jump is the biggest lock, they say. They have her at minus 5,000. So you got to bet $5,000 just to win 100. Mondo Duplantis is the second with minus 2,000 odds. Sydney McLaughlin third with minus 1,600 odds. Ryan Krauser with fourth, tied with all these other athletes are fourth. Ryan Krauser fourth with minus 1,000. Same with Brooke Anderson with the hammer throw, who's also minus 1,000, and then Valerie Almond with the discus, who is also at minus 1,000 odds. So those are who your biggest athletes are when it comes to your biggest favorites. Personally, I would not bet on any of them because there's no parlay options here when it comes to the 100, when it comes to the DraftKings and the World Championship. So it's not worth it just putting on one each individual event. But if you do have the ability to do it for a collective, then maybe it's something you should look into. Now let's take a look at the men's 110 hurdles, like I had said. And so with that, the favorite here, Grant Holloway, minus 200. Devon Allen next with plus 225. Trey Cunningham third with plus 500. Daniel Roberts fourth with plus 1,100. And those are your top 4. One thing you'll notice, there's no Hansel Parchment here. I don't know why. I have no idea, because as far as I know, Hansel Parchment's still competing. Like, I haven't heard anything of him not competing. And I looked throughout this entire thing, he's not here at all. Like, the only Jamaican athletes that they have here are Rashid Bromell, who's here, and they have Orlando Bennett, who is here, and that is it when it comes to the Jamaican athletes. So I don't know why they're not adding him, because I think he should definitely be in this conversation, and he's Olympic champion, but that's whatever. But based off of this, Grant Holloway bet is a pretty good one. Being only 210, I think that he is definitely really not jaded, but the fact that he didn't win the Olympics last year, he got beat out by Devon Allen in New York. I think those are things that are going to be building on him and is going to want him to win this race. I am curious though, like if Hansel Parchment wins, do these bets just get nullified because he's not even available to bet? I am curious on how that's going to work out. Then other ones that I think are worth it, I think Devon Allen at really any of these four are going to be good. Like Devon Allen at plus 225, him being the fastest man in the world right now, second fastest ever when it comes to the 110 meter hurdles. I think that being plus 225 is really, really good. He's going to be coming in with all of this motivation. He has the external motivation with the unfortunate passing of his father that happened at USA's. And so I think the fact that he's going to be having all this extra motivation, he's running on easy streaks. He's got the Eagles camp that he's going to be running and doing after this. That's going to be looking pretty good. Trey Cunningham, college guy. I'm not too sure if he's going to be winning this championship. He hasn't been able to go sub 13 yet, and I think you're going to have to go sub 13 in order to win this championship. Daniel Roberts, your U.S. champion, he could get it. I'm not sure if I'd have him right there and as a winner. I would kind of focus on either Grant Holloway or Devon Allen. I'm probably going to end up putting some money on Devon Allen here just because he's going to be a Philadelphia Eagle. I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Why not go and do it? Let's see if you can upset the world. Even though my pick, when I did make my picks, is Grant Holloway, I think the value you're getting with Devon Allen is really good. And so if you're going for just value picks, go with Devon Allen. If you're going for, hey, I want to be as right as possible, and not, I want to pick the favorites, I just want to pick straight chalk, then yeah, you can go with Grant Holloway. But people, things change. You never know what's going to happen. So go with either of those two. I think those would be very good picks for you. Oh, Jasmine Camacho Quinn minus 190, Kenny Harrison plus 175, Lele Johnson plus 550, and then Toby Amusan out of Nigeria at plus 600. Jasmine Camacho Quinn was my pick to win. Like, I think that her and Grant Holloway obviously are very similar in, how dominant they've been. She's 35-2 across all races over the past 3 years. And so she's just been very dominant when it comes to winning. But her one loss was this year to Lele Johnson when it comes to the 100 meter hurdles in Puerto Rico. She did have a really awful start there, which is something to, know. So when she has had really great starts, like she's been undefeated, which she normally does. And so that would be a really good pick in my mind. I also think Kenny Harrison at plus 175, world record holder, fastest woman in the world this year. So far, like all of that is trending to, yeah, you're probably going to win. And she also won USA's. And so everything right now is looking like, you should be the best pick on paper. World record holder, you ran really fast and this year, you've won USA's, all of that stuff. Like that's showing that you should probably be a little bit lower odds. So I might hop on that plus 175. Like I think she's definitely could upset Jasmine Camacho Quinn here. Lele Johnson, I'm not sure. Like, I think it's going to be really tough to be able to beat Kenny Harrison and Jasmine Camacho Quinn. Like, I think it's going to really be a fight between those two. So I would steer clear of Lele Johnson right now. I mean, the odds are really good at plus 550. Like, you do have to keep that into consideration. Like the fact that it's plus 550, is really good. But I think she can medal. I think she will medal. To win is going to be a little bit of a stretch, but if you want to, you could do that. But I'd be sticking between Jasmine Camacho Quinn or Kenny Harrison for me personally. So it's high jump. These are what your odds are. Yaroslava Mochkin, Ukraine, minus 330. Eleanor Patterson, plus 600. Nicola Orgeslagers at Austria, plus 1,000. And then Vashti Cunningham at plus 1,200. So, and then Lamara Diston at plus 2,500. And so for me, I'm going with Vashti Cunningham here. Like, she's won a world championship before. She's competing here at home in Oregon. And so she's going to be really comfortable. All these other athletes are flying in. And so, it can be a little bit crazy. One thing that's interesting is that, so she has jumped 2 meters for the past last year and the year before. She hasn't jumped it yet. She's only jumped 196. So she's kind of due to have a really good competition here. And that's what all these other women are jumping. All these other women are jumping 2 meters or a little bit above. Yaroslava has been extraordinarily consistent. That's why she's the favorite at minus 330. But I'm going with Vashti Cunningham here. Like, the fact that we have such insane value with plus 1,200, and she has a really, really good shot at winning. She came in 4th at the Olympics, I believe, and the reason that it kind of fell back is because she was skipping bars, trying to catch up, and it just didn't end up working. But she has a really good chance at winning this thing. I really like her odds, and when I saw that she was plus 1,200, I was like, oh yeah, I'm hopping right on that. So those are going to be my 7 bets when it comes to the World Championship. Let me know what you think, and we'll see how they end up turning out. Once again, hopefully they will put some other events in here. I would love to put some money on relays and everything like that. That would be really cool. But once again, make sure that if you're doing this, you're doing it legally and safely. If you are not in a place where sports betting is legal, do not participate. And if you're not of legal age, do not participate. If you're in the NCAA, don't participate. And if you don't have the resources to, lose, if you're not comfortable with losing the amount of money that you could be losing, that you're betting, don't bet it. If you only have $100 in your bank account, don't bet $100. It's not worth it, no matter how much of a lock this person is. This is sports. Crazy things happen. So that's going to do it for us here. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. We'd love to know your thoughts on these picks. And then we will see you at the World Championships. Peace.